Good morning, Year 2. What are you doing in my kitchen? You want to find out how to write instructions today? Not a problem. You've actually just caught me making some lovely pear crumble. I was just about to begin. So what do I need to do? Well, when I'm writing instructions, I think what we first of all is need to tell people what they will need. So you must need 75 grams of plain flour. I'm going to use my scales today. Now, believe it or not, these are digital scales. When I press this button, it comes on. And then what happens is, as the weight gets pushed down, it will end up with the number going up until I need to get 75. It's not working because it needs to have a bit of gravity. Let's give it a go. I'm going to pour in my flour. I'm going to make sure it stops when it gets to 75. Let's see how we go. Oh, I've gone over. I should have said carefully measure, shouldn't I? Whoops, I'm going to have to get my spoon out now. I'm going to have to take some out. Oh, it's still at 105. I'm going to take away some more, 88. I wonder how many of you can work out how many grams I need to take away from 88 to get to 75. What have I got? 77. I've got another 2 more grams to go. And I'm there. Fantastic. So now I've got 75 grams of flour. I'm all set to go with that. I also need to have 75 grams of butter. And I've got to use this. Who knows what all these lines are with numbers? It's a bit like on a ruler, isn't it? And you're right, that's a scale. So if I look carefully at my scale and measure it up at the end, I can see that up to here, I'll have 25. Then I'll have another 25, which is 50. Then if I do another 25, that will mean I'll have 75 grams. So I'm going to draw a line here at where my third lot of 25 grams is, approximately. And I'm going to cut it all the way down. I'm going to add it into my mixing bowl. Excellent. That's my butter and my flour all sorted. So what am I going to do with it now? Well, don't forget, when you're writing instructions, we need to use our adverbials of time, which are words like first, next, then, last, after that, meanwhile, finally. So what I'm going to do is I am going to rub together the flour and the butter with my fingertips. What do we need to make sure we do before we cook? Well, I've made sure that I've thoroughly washed my hands, especially with the coronavirus right now. Super important to make sure that our hands are always spotlessly clean. So I'm going to get my fingertips in. Oh, and this is the best bit. This is what I love doing. I'm going to mix and swirl about. I'm going to go crazy with it. I'm mixing that flour and butter together, and I'm going to keep going until it's really crumbly. Now, what we've also got to do when we're writing our instructions is make sure that we're using not only our adverbs like carefully, gently, quickly, slowly. They all describe how we are doing something. I'm walking, but I'm walking quickly. Or I'm jumping, but I'm jumping happily. Once we've done that, and oh, I think I might need to have a little bit more flour because it's too sticky right now. So I'm going to just, wing it. I'm going to play it by ear. I'm going to take my, oh, look at that. It's so disgusting. I'm going to put in a bit more flour. I'm going to keep mixing. That's what we have to do. When things don't always go to plan, we just have to go along with it. And I'm going to keep on mixing, keep on mixing, keep on mixing. What are you going to make today, do you think, for your instructions? Is it going to be a piece of toast for breakfast? Could do. Or is it going to be helping with your mum, your dad, your nan, whoever you're living with? What do we reckon? It's not crumbly enough, is it? So are you going to make maybe a drink for someone? Make your mum a nice cup of tea, with help obviously, because boiling water is quite dangerous. I'm still going to go with my crumble. Oh, I think I'm nearly there. Do you want to see how I'm going? That's looking a bit more crumbly. Looks a bit like sand when it's done properly, doesn't it? Have you made crumble before, foxes and rabbits? There, I am practically finished, I think, because we don't want to have it too fine, because if we have it too fine, we won't settle into those nice, crunchy, sugary. Oh, did I use some adjectives there? Lumps of crumble. Now, I have to make sure that I gently stir in the sugar, which is also 75 grams, which I measured earlier. So here goes my sugar. I'm going to get my spoon. And I'm going to carefully stir around my sugar. And I'm also going to put in half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Do you remember what half means as a fraction? Because the 1's on top and the 2's on the bottom, the 2's the denominator, which means that whatever I have, I need to split it into 2. So with my teaspoon, I'm going to put that line in the middle, halfway. I'm going to fill it up, because then I only want 1 of those 2 parts. And that's what a fraction means, 1 out of 2 parts. So here we go. Let's see if I can do that. If I shove it over a bit, that looks about right, doesn't it? So I'm going to sprinkle that in and a little bit for luck. Right, let's give that a stir. Now, what I had to make sure I did earlier was switch on the oven so that it's ready for this crumble to cook. But I need you to help me make sure that it's at the right temperature before I put it in. You okay with that? Let's go. Now, I need to make sure that you can see my oven dial. It's there. Can you see it? Now, at the moment, it says 130. That's not enough for 180. So I'm going to need to turn that dial. Keep turning it. It's a bit difficult when I've got crumbly mixture on my hands. And tell me when to start. Well done. Thank you, foxes. Now it's at the correct temperature. Let's go back and finish off. So what do I do next? Well, I have got my baking tray. If I was to write the instructions for it, I would say tip. Because I'm not saying please tip or would you mind tip. I'm being bossy. I like being bossy, don't I, children? And that means I'm using my imperative verbs. I'm telling you what to do. I'm not asking you. So I'm going to sprinkle out my crumble into my tray. Just spread it around my fingers. Then I'm going to pop it in the oven and I am going to cook it for about 10 to 12 minutes until it's golden brown and toasted. So in the oven it is going to go. See you in a sec. What do I do next? Well, meanwhile, with the pears that have been cored, peeled and diced, I'm going to put them into a large pan. Do you know what? I've worked out why my crumble was too soggy. So I used all the butter. I didn't follow the instructions properly. That was silly. Now I'm going to have my pears and I'm going to have to use some butter so that I can cook them down into a lovely syrupy mixture. It's going to be delicious. What we do is we're going to put the pears into the pan, and I'm going to put a little bit of butter in. Now, strictly speaking, you're supposed to put the butter in first and wait until it's foaming, but I don't mind too much. I've done it like this before and it's been fine. So I'm going to write it up later how you should be doing it. You can always do it and play about with it as you like. Have a little bit of experimentation. It's always good fun. Well, these are going to be cooking off nicely. I'm just going to turn that heat down. Once that's done, and I have got my pears, when they're looking bubbly and they are simmering a bit like a babbling brook, I'm going to take them off. I'm going to put it into an oven-proof dish, such as this one right here. I'll take out my cooked crumble, I'll put it on top, and then I will bake it again for about 3 to 4 minutes. Finally, I'm going to take it out of the oven. I'm going to get some lovely vanilla ice cream, and I'm going to gobble it down with my son later on. I wonder what instructions you'll write today. I'm looking forward to seeing them and to maybe looking at pictures of what you've created. See you later and have fun today. The sun is out and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.